And we're here ready for the second game on Field 1 here at the U.S. Youth Soccer National League Tournament in Wilson, North Carolina. So this matchup will face off between the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty versus West Coast FC Armour. So the starting lineups for the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty: number 20, Vincent Brocolino; number 12, Mark Cantor; number 4, Luke Davis; number 11, Anant Johnson; number 3, Reese Mayer; 10, John Nolan; 55, Danique Parker; 7, Andrew Privet; 35, Logan Stevens; 8, Tate Torn; and in goal, number 0, Rafi Marinelli. For the West Coast FC Armour, you got number 81, Tyler Beatig; 14, Sander Boo; number 2, Blake Bowen; 23, Angel Franco; number 10, Juan Gomez; 19, Nicholas Lopez; 28, Parker Rosine; 8, Matthew Ruiz; number 27, Christian Sevilla will be in goal; number 11, Eugene Vanderwatt; and number 9, Alexis Vasquez for the West Coast FC Armour. And the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty will be in the green and white. And then you have the West Coast FC Armour in the navy blue jerseys. As we are underway with West Coast Armour starting with possession of the ball. But Celtic able to get it back quickly. Now working toward the middle of the field, looking to play it forward. This one played forward, but quickly won by the West Coast FC Armour. I talked to West Coast FC Armour's head coach, Neil Armour, before the starting of the game, and he just said, we got to win. That's a simple strategy to winning this one. And then the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty coach told me that they plan on pressing them on offense, and on defense they're hoping to just get some good possession with some passes. That was a very tough takeaway right there, and a player sent to the ground on what was a very rough tackle, and the player still down, as he looks like he took a brutal blow. And a player looks severely hurt on the near side of the field. There was a collision off the tackle that sent the player to the ground. And for the second straight game here on Field 1, there is a injury within the first couple minutes of the game, and we hate seeing it for these players that take the field. As the trainer's getting ready to come onto the field to check the player out, I can't quite tell which player had gone down, but hopefully he's all right. A lot of the players with a concerned look on their face from both sides, hoping that the player's okay. I can't quite tell what he's holding or where he had injured himself, but he immediately went to the ground in pain. As it looks like Baltimore Celtic Dynasty might have to use a substitute very early on in this one. As we have a couple players warming up over here on the sideline for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. And the player's still down. It looks like his arm is what he hurt. It looks like he's grabbing that left arm. It looks like maybe a shoulder injury. We don't want to speculate a whole lot, but it looks like he came down pretty hard on that arm after the collision. with the West Coast Armour player taking the ball off the tackle. So immediately into the game, number 19, Andrew Redul will have to step up for his team and see if he can get something going. Because it looks like number 11, Alnant Johnson, was the player that was injured on the play. So we're going to resume play here. And this one played to the back line of West Coast Armour. West Coast Armour comes into this game as the number 4 team in the country. Baltimore Celtic Dynasty as the number 1. As a nice gesture of sportsmanship from West Coast Armour FC to send one of their coaches over and make sure the player is all right. And the ball goes out of play right there. Baltimore Celtic Dynasty with the throw-in. It'll be number 8. Tate Thorne throwing it in. This one played toward the middle of the field, but not put into the box quite properly. Headed around toward the attacking third of the Boston Celtic Dynasty. Neither team able to get possession early. Both teams very offensive oriented, trying to get something going, but the first thing is keeping possession. I talked to Baltimore Celtic Dynasty coach Mike Lookingland before the game, and one of the big things he looks for is just trying to keep possession. A lot of these players on this team coming off the high school season, so he's hoping that they can kind of mesh. They haven't had a lot of time to practice, but he said they looked quite good in practice the other day, looking to hopefully build on that and pick up a good result here in this game at the tournament. And this one played over to the near side of the field. And a solid tackle will slow down the Boston Celtic offense. And a good takeaway right there, and maybe an opportunity for West Coast Armour coming down the field. Played forward. The speed's coming for the Boston Celtic defense, and then a player goes down. Both coaches very animated early, looking for their players to provide for their teams coming in strong.
Well done, Logan. Good recovery, Logan. Lose it going forward, Tate. You can't give a square ball to the other team.
This ball played forward. West Coast Armour able to head it up into the air and able to find possession of the ball taken away. Early on, neither team really able to keep clean possessions. A lot of balls being deflected around. This one played long down the far side of the field. That one deflected away, and now maybe an opportunity for Baltimore Celtic as this one played toward the middle of the field. Waiting to probe for some space, now played forward. Here on the near side of the field, 2 players fighting for it. One goes down. That ball will go out of play, and it'll be awarded to Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. And it looks like we're going to get a deep throw in from Baltimore Celtic Dynasty right here, looking to throw it into the box, but the keeper with a nice play. For the West Coast Armour, it is number 27, Christian Sevilla, back in goal. And you'll have to be well and alert today as the offense is going to be coming in bunches for the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. West Coast Armour looking to hopefully keep that defense strong and make Baltimore Celtic Dynasty work. But early on, neither team able to keep possession. This one played into the box, and this one goes right over the goalpost. As we get closer to the later part of the afternoon, as we've reached early afternoon, the sun's still out, not much of a cloud in the sky. Doesn't look like any threat of rain, which It has been raining quite a bit over in Wilson, North Carolina as of late. The weather has been peculiarly warm for this time of year. This ball headed up into the air. Now back out to the near side of the field, and that one will go out of play.
Hey, you gotta clean it up, brother.
West Coast Armour all the way from California, so quite the travel to come over here compared to the team from Baltimore and Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of effect that has. Long travel can often wear down a team. Those long road trips, having to travel all the way across country. This one played down the far side of the field for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. Now this one played toward the top of the box, trying to lay it off for one of his teammates. Now played forward to the side of the box, trying to be played in, but the goalkeeper will pick it up. It's Sevilla once again for West Coast Armour.
Be strong enough there to win a corner.
That one deflected back, disrupts the West Coast Armour offense, and now here we go, Boston Celtic Dynasty. I keep wanting to say Boston Celtic Dynasty. I'll tell you what, that Baltimore Celtic Dynasty, and then this team's got the green and white on. Sounds like Boston Celtics. But I have to remind myself, this is soccer, this isn't basketball. As the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty will have a free kick here in a pretty good position, plays it in, starting to curve. And it'll be a corner kick. So the first corner kick of the game for either squad. The ball up and away, played into the box, goes past everybody. West Coast Armour FC able to clear it away, but a player in the back line for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty plays it forward. Now this one booted up into the air.
Headed high. All right, well done, Luke. Well done. AJ, come on. AJ, you have to sprint back and defend, buddy.
This one played forward, broken up. Now played forward to the middle of the field. A little bit of space for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty, but then runs out of room immediately. As that ball looked like it went out of play, and that will be the call as Baltimore Celtic Dynasty will get the throw in. It'll be number 8, Tate Thorne, on the throw in for Baltimore.
Come on the other side of the flag. Just move 5 yards.
Tate looking on where to throw it. Throws it near the corner. This one deflected back. Played toward the middle of the field. And over the top, a nice little pass over on the far side corner over there in an attempt to try and play this one into the box is halted. And they will call that a goal kick. Looks like Coach Lookingdale's pretty happy with the opportunities his team's been able to create thus far in the game. And a little bit of pushing off on both sides, and that's going to be a foul on Tate Thorne, which will give FC Armour a free kick right here, plays it forward. And now here comes Baltimore Celtic Dynasty This one played forward. And it looks like an offsides will be called on Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. This one played long. Headed forward, maybe an opportunity if they can create a turnover, not able to do it. Baltimore Celtic Dynasty will just have to play this one out. West Coast FC Armour is looking to speed it up a little bit, knowing they have maybe a little bit of an advantage, but the ball will go out of play. The defense sets back for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty, and we'll have a throw-in once again for West Coast. As everyone's starting to get marked up on defense for these West Coast Armour offense. And one of the things I noticed, a lot of the players for West Coast Armour FC a little taller than the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty, so maybe look out for one of that as a key to the game on one of these crosses into the box, on maybe a corner kick, maybe a free kick, maybe a lot of opportunities. Some of these taller players can get ahead on it for West Coast Armour FC. This one headed up into the air, but to the back line. Both teams starting to settle down just a little bit, but as soon as I say that, that ball goes out of play off an errant pass. It looks like both teams are starting to feel this game out. One of the biggest things is just keeping possession. That can be your greatest ally. When you have the ball, the other team can't do anything with it. I think there was one example of showing the advantage on the height right there in the middle of the field. If you can win the middle of the field, you can often push the ball forward, so that's also a big thing. But here comes Baltimore Celtic Dynasty trying to play this one into the box, and a couple players hit the deck right there. And it looks like that's going to be a goal kick, as it looks like it went out on a Baltimore Celtic Dynasty player. This one played long. Now here comes streaking down the field comes West Coast. West Coast now moving at the top of the box. Takes a shot. This one hits off the post. And it finds a way in, and West Coast will take the 1-0 lead early on here in the first half. Broke free down the field and had space and puts it in off the post. So Baltimore Celtic Dynasty now has to find a way to keep implementing their attack and keep pressing forward to see if they can find the equalizer. As they say, you're most likely to concede a goal right after you scored one, so it's important for West Coast Armour FC to keep it up and don't get, what should I say, complacent here. That ball goes out of play. And it'll be Tate Thorne once again on the throw-in. Thorne gets it in the middle of the field. Now back to Thorne. Thorne plays this one forward. Found at the feet of his teammate. This one now deflected away. Tate Thorne once again on the near side of the field making the play, plays this one forward. That one will go out of play on Boston Celtic Dynasty. And West Coast Armour will get the throw in. And not able to handle it right there, but able to win back possession. Number 12, Mark Cantor, showing you why it's important to not give up on the ball. Lost it for a moment, but able to win it back, and his team now has a little bit of open area to maybe move with this offense. Where this field is still torn up from yesterday and the games that have been playing on today. The ball's still continuing to just die in the middle of the field. And maybe an opportunity right here, and an opportunity right off the post for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. And another attempt, and that one deflected off of one of his own players, and this one is going to be pinballed around a little, but Baltimore Celtic Dynasty almost had an opportunity to get the equalizer right there and tie this one up at 1 here in the first half. But the shot goes unanswered. That shot just misses as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we might be looking at a shootout on our hands as both teams very offensive-oriented, and we saw what West Coast could do, and now you see Baltimore coming and striking back with 2 quality opportunities of their own. So we'll see if Baltimore Celtic Dynasty able to come up with the equalizer soon. They definitely don't want to find themselves down 2-0, but that was one of their better possessions that they've had in this game. This one played deep, headed up into the air. And a great play by Thorne, but then unable to keep possession rather. Now we got a foul over here on the near side of the field and another player down, this time for West Coast. But it looks like he'll be able to get up under his own power, as I believe it was number 9, Alexis Vasquez, that hit the deck. Looking to play it into the box off the free kick. This one deflected, and that one off the post. West Coast keeping possession of the ball, looking to work it, looking to put it back into the box, and here it comes with the goalkeeper right there. For the green and white, it's Rafi Manarelli. Down the far side of the field, Baltimore Celtic. That ball will go out of play, and it'll be a throw-in for Baltimore Celtic. So now Baltimore Celtic with a throw-in pretty deep in West Coast territory. Or instead, they're going to call a free kick right over by the sideline. I thought that ball had gone out, but instead they'll call a free kick. So this one up and away and into the box. A couple players go for the header. That one just goes wide of the post as well. So Baltimore Celtic with their opportunities, just not able to knock one of them home. Both coaches extremely animated on the sideline, hoping their teams can come up big on some of these possessions. This ball played back toward the middle of the field. Baltimore Celtic with possession. Now back toward the middle of the field. And not a good touch right there. And here comes West Coast down the other side of the field. This one played forward. Nobody home, but it did get by the back line. But the goalkeeper right there, Rafi Manarelli, after number 14, Sander Buj, played it for West Coast. That ball looked like it went out, and it did. So it'll be a throw-in out on number 11, Eugene Vanderwatt. Two players almost collided right there for Baltimore Celtic. Now West Coast looking to leak out. Here comes an opportunity. That ball deflected away off the slide tackle. And a great play to get Baltimore Celtic some possession. That pass a little behind. And that'll break off the offensive attack. Once again, keeping possession is key. Here comes Eugene Vanderwatt down the near side of the field trying to play it forward, and that ball will go out. Vanderwatt's had a little bit of a rough game so far. hoping to get it together here as a couple passes have gone out on him. He's lost possession a couple times. This one played forward. Vander Watt once again tries to drop it off to his teammate. That one broken up. The ball gets by a couple players on both teams. And that'll be a foul right there. And a free kick closer to midfield right here is Baltimore Celtic looking to pick up the pace a little and take this free kick a little quicker. And here it comes into the box. This one headed up into the air. West Coast able to clear it away momentarily. Plays this one forward. Headed up into the air, deflected around and out to the back line of Baltimore Celtic. And a great takeaway right there in the back line, and now this one played forward to the far side of the field, but a little behind him. Still able to get possession, though. Now streaking down the side of the field, looking to get one into the box. And an opportunity drop back. Here comes the trailer, and a shot deflected away. Baltimore Celtic still trying to threaten. This one cleared away. And this one will go out. Tate Thorne throws it in. Back to Thorne on the near side of the field. Working up the near side of the field, taken away. This one will be deflected straight up into the air. And that looked like a handball right there, and that will be the call. So now a free kick in a pretty good position right here for Baltimore Celtic. Are they going to be able to come up with something? The ball into the box, and it's on, and here we go. Deflected away. Now chipped back in, an opportunity. Sevilla gets a nice little tip with his hand, but here comes another shot, another tip away from Sevilla, and that one just goes wide of the post. Sevilla very active in this game, has made a couple of nice saves. It looks like we're going to have two substitutions maybe coming in for West Coast here in a moment. But at first, it looks like we're going to have the corner. This one played up, deflected around. Now this one played forward. This one deflected up into the air, but Sevilla able to bring it down to the ground. And thrown in. Tate Thorne right there. Tries to play it up the sideline. Nobody home. Deflected away, and a great play. And now maybe an opportunity. Baltimore Celtic Dynasty still moving with the ball. Great couple of touches. Here comes an opportunity, maybe a shot. Deflected away. Here comes another one. And Sevilla able to get another hand on it to at least slow it down, and then one of his players clears it away again. So some great saving defense from West Coast. Baltimore Celtic not going away, though. Still has possession. The bicycle kick, and the shot just misses. A nice attempt, an athletic play with the bicycle kick, just not able to put it in. Was an athletic play. And two substitutions come in for West Coast. Number 6, Dylan Van Kanel, and number 88, Yamato Eguchi. Check in for West Coast FC Armour. Headed around midfield. A foul's going to be called, so it'll be a free kick for West Coast. Eugene Vanderwatt now on the near side of the field. Played toward the sideline. That one looks like it'll be out on West Coast. Tate Thorne drops it off for his teammate, Reese Meyer. Throw it in. That one will be deflected, and it looks like out on Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. And that ball will go out. And it looks like it'll be West Coast's ball still. Out on Tate Thorne. That ball will go out of play again, so a little bit of throw-in drill right here. Played deep. Headed up into the air. And that ball will roll out of play for what will be a throw-in. It looks like we're getting ready to have another substitute for West Coast here in a moment. So it looks like he is getting ready to come in right now. Number 7, Dylan Marone, checking into the game. Number 19, Nicholas Lopez, checking out, and here comes the ball into play down the middle of the field. That's got to be a handball, and it looks like that will be the call. As it looked like number 8, Matthew Ruiz, basically, he laid down on top of the ball, and his hand definitely did touch it. Baltimore Celtic looking to increase the pace of play right here. Plays it forward. But Sevilla will be there with no one to contest. Played forward toward the middle of the field. A nice breakup right there. And Baltimore Celtic looking to push the issue. Sevilla plays this one forward. Right to a Baltimore Celtic player, though. Eugene Vanderwatt trying to get there. This one dropped back to Tate Thorne, now played forward. And this ball will go out of play. West Coast trying to push it. Baltimore Celtic has been there on defense to break up a lot of these passes, but they haven't been able to do much with them. So be another throw in for the green and white. Reese Mayer throws it back into the middle of the field. And a nice little run right there before losing possession with a couple of touches. Tate Thorne's got some space. Will they find him with it? Instead, they elect to go deeper with the pass. Eugene Vanderwatt right there to break it up. Now to Tate Thorne. Tate Thorne on the near side of the field. Plays it forward into the box. Headed. This one bouncing around. Sevilla able to get there just in the nick of time. Looks like player that came out earlier, Nunt Johnson, for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty, now in a sling on his arm. It doesn't look like he will be returning into this game, so that's always a crucial blow when you lose one of your starters. So that's something Baltimore Celtic will have to adjust to for the rest of this game. Here comes a substitution for West Coast. Number 13, Samuel Brooks, checks into the game. This one played toward the middle of the field, a little bit of space. Trying to gather it home, though, not able to do so. This one cleared out by Baltimore Celtic. And now in the middle of the field, he'll have to take on 3 defenders. He's going to have to slow it down, wait for his teammates, but instead he'll lose possession there for a moment before winning a throw-in, though. And 2 substitutes getting ready to come in for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty here in a moment. Number 25, Thulin Garcia. It looks like number 9, Dennis Krenovich, will check into the game. This ball worked, almost cut off and taken downfield by West Coast, but instead it'll be played downfield. Almost slipped on the play, able to get back. Now played forward. This one played to the near side of the field, and maybe an opportunity, a shot. Flicks around a little bit and maybe an opportunity, but Sevilla there once again. He has been absolutely spectacular for West Coast Armour. Every single time Baltimore Celtic has come knocking, Sevilla has been there to answer and slams the door shut every time. So be a throw-in for Baltimore Celtic. This one deflected up into the air, batted around. It looks like it will be a corner kick. And maybe an opportunity right here for Baltimore Celtic to score one, as it looks like Anant Johnson will be taken for further evaluation somewhere else. And we hope he's all right and he didn't fracture anything or break his arm or anything like that, as he's being carted off here on field 1. This ball played up into the air, deflected up high and over the goal post, and it'll go out for a goal kick. So Sevilla has been the active player here today for West Coast. Eugene Vanderwatt has made some nicer plays than he did at the beginning of the game, starting to come in for West Coast and play defense again. Tate Thorne, which is where this team of Baltimore Celtic has been trying to attack with. So once again, you saw Thorne there with a touch before it was broken up by West Coast. Now this one played on the near side of the field forward, but about 3 defenders set in the direction of the West Coast Armour player. It was number 8. Matthew Ruiz was there, but it will be a throw-in. Tate Thorne looking to try and play this one forward. And it will go out of play right towards the Baltimore Celtic bench. And this time we'll see Reese Mayer throw it in. That ball will go out of play. And we might have a talking to, maybe a booking here in a moment. There will be no booking. but there will be a talking to Reese Mayer. And it looks like we'll continue play. This one played for Dennis Kranovich trying to go towards it. I mean, Dennis Kranovich probably the shortest guy on the field right now. I'm sure what he lacks in size, he makes up for speed. He's trying to go against some of these bigger defenders and get the ball from them, but it's hard when these balls are going up in the air, as you see Kranovich giving chase right here. Tate Thorne plays this one forward. And an opportunity for Baltimore Celtic right here, but an offsides will be called. So it'll be a free kick right here for West Coast. Eugene Vanderwatt plays this one back. Now it's sent deep. Broken up. Coach Lookingdale asking his team to try and find some feet. Keeping possession's a crucial part of the game here, as Baltimore Celtic hasn't really been able to keep much of possession. A lot of these possessions have been very, very quick and short, as you saw right there, as Eugene Vanderwatt able to get it back, and that's going to be a foul. Vanderwatt with the sportsmanship helps the player up. No booking, but a warning given to Vanderwatt. Played forward. Here comes West Coast trying to play this one down deep, but the ball not able to get through the back line. West Coast breaks it up in the back line, plays it forward here in the midfield. Deflected away. And now maybe an opportunity for West Coast, as here they are in the middle of the field with some space, but that ball played out a little too far forward. And once again, neither of these teams really keeping possession. And that will be the end of the first half, as West Coast, the team with the 1-0 lead after 1 half of play. You are watching the U.S. Youth Soccer National League Tournament. And we're getting ready for the second half here between the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty versus West Coast FC Armour. West Coast FC Armour with a 1-0 lead here at halftime. Is Baltimore Celtic Dynasty going to start out with the ball to start the second half and quickly give it up? See if either of these teams can really find a way to keep possession here in order to ensure a victory. For the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty, the big thing in the first half for them was just not finishing opportunities. They had a lot of shots. They were able to get a lot of rebounds off deflections, etc., but it just really didn't work out for them as far as getting the ball into the goal. Sevilla was able to do a nice job as that ball just barely missed as Manarelli was there. I don't think he touched it, though, as that ball just sailed wide of the post, but Baltimore Celtic Dynasty hopefully looking to get some balls into the net this half and capitalize on some of those opportunities. They weren't able to do so in the first half for West Coast Armour. They haven't had a load of opportunities, but I will say that they have capitalized on the one that they got. That was a beautiful opportunity where they just completely went down the field and were able to put it in the net. And Sevilla, their goalkeeper, has been absolutely spectacular for them in this game. And we'll see if he can stay spectacular. As we know, Baltimore Celtic Dynasty is going to continue to press and keep bringing the heat here in the second half. And that's going to be a foul called right at midfield. So it looks like Tate Thorne is going to be the one trying to take it. And then instead it'll be Reese Mayer. One of the things Coach Lookingdale for Baltimore Celtic is looking for, just for his team to just look really upbeat and play well here.
Let's go forward. Where are you going?
The ball played to the far side of the field. Now forward. Taken away by West Coast Armour, and here they come. That ball wasn't a very good one. Baltimore Celtic Dynasty able to win possession because of it. Now on the near side of the field, that ball's going to go out of play. And it'll be a throw-in for Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. This one thrown deep into the box. A couple players go up for the head. None of them able to get there. And then Sevilla able to get there and get the save once again. Sevilla has had a spectacular game as he punts this one into play, but the ball is going to anchor on the sideline. And, well, West Coast able to keep it in play, and now this ball played beautifully forward, but Baltimore Celtic Dynasty's back line able to get there in time. As it looked like Parker Rosine was the guy for the navy blue West Coast Armour with a nice little run down the sideline. That ball taken away. West Coast Armour looking to try and keep possession. Neither team's pass is just really connecting in this game. That ball will roll out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for West Coast Armour. Baltimore Celtic Dynasty plays it back, trying to create themselves just a little bit of space. This ball played forward. And a good deflection right there, and it'll be a throw-in for West Coast Armour. This time number 13, Samuel Brooks, was able to march down the field and get an opportunity. He had some space for a moment, but quickly the gap closed. And that ball looks like it'll roll out of play for another throw-in for West Coast. played back. And you can see Baltimore Celtic pressing right here. When they don't have the ball, starting to try and pressure that back line to win possession, get some cheap turnovers. And it looks like a foul will be called right there on Baltimore Celtic. Baltimore Celtic has come out and added a little bit of height here in the second half with Basenko playing that forward position. He's a lot taller than a lot of players on the roster for Baltimore Celtic. Taller than a lot of players on the field in general. So maybe hoping to find him and use him as a presence size-wise. This ball kept in play, but headed around. Baltimore Celtic able to find possession. Now tap back. Up the sideline goes Basenko. That one headed forward for West Coast. West Coast maybe trying to look to reverse field here. Instead, that ball will go out of play on what wasn't a very good pass.
Come on, Prep, let's go. Tempo, come on.
The throw in comes in. This one headed forward. West Coast takes the free kick very quickly, but broken up just as quickly by Baltimore Celtic. This one played forward. Down the far side of the field, it'll go out of play for a Baltimore Celtic throw-in. The throw-in comes in deep. It's been something Baltimore Celtic has been doing this game, using that deep throw-in near the box. That was a risky play right there. And that's why, because now no one is home, and now an opportunity for West Coast. West Coast looking to move it in. On the outside of the box, plays it in, but a little too far. But still kept in. Here comes another cross into the box. This one deflected up. The keeper's down on the ground, but Baltimore Celtic able to flip the field, and now here comes a counter of their own. Here comes Baltimore Celtic down the far side of the field. Keeps on moving. Basenko down the middle. That'll be a throw-in for West Coast Armour. A great defensive stop right there, and they have a pretty decent following here on field one, even though that they hail all the way from California. And that'll be a foul call right there and a free kick. Coach Lookingdale sending all his players forward, trying to create something in the box right here. And this is where a guy like Basenko, and then you got Reese Mayer, Tate Thorne, all very tall fellas. Got to utilize them right here. Played into the box in a good attempt. But it looks like the jump was just mistimed, so Sevilla was able to get to the ball. But it was a solid look off the free kick. Baltimore Celtic looking to play this one forward. West Coast able to get there and break it up. This one played back, and a substitution getting ready to come in for Baltimore Celtic. Down the near side of the field, here's West Coast Armour. That ball's going to go out of play. And it looks like we're going to have a throw in right here for West Coast as Bay Senko checks out for Baltimore Celtic. Number 20, Vincent Broccolino, who started the game, checks back in. And it looks like this one's going to be a deep throw in just a moment. Sent in deep. This one bouncing around right in front of the box, and maybe an opportunity right here for West Coast. But Baltimore Celtic able to get there and break it up. Not a lot of help, but here comes a play up the sideline. It's Parker. Parker still running with the ball. A nice move right there to keep possession, spin it back in toward the middle of the field before it's broken up by West Coast. Nice little run down the near side of the field by Parker in an attempt to get something on goal right there, but it was broken up. It will be a throw-in for Baltimore Celtic, however. Every game matters when it comes to these U.S. Youth Soccer National League tournaments. So all these teams trying to qualify to go to Frisco, Texas for those national championships later in 2016. It looks like we're going to have a corner kick right here for Baltimore Celtic. Played in right outside the box. This one headed up into the air. This one being deflected around. And that one gathered in by Sevilla once again. Sevilla has been absolutely stellar for West Coast. Time after time, save after save, he's been there. And he's creating a lot of problems for Baltimore Celtic because when you got a guy like that back in goal and he's hard to score on, things can go south in a hurry. That one flicked forward. West Coast trying to make something happen, dropped back, but nobody home for the drop back. Baltimore Celtic looking to play this one forward. Now this one played deep. And a nice touch right there to play that one forward. Now Baltimore Celtic looking to keep pushing it forward. A player falls down in the middle of the field there. And a nice run down the near side of the field. But a great defensive play. A couple nice defensive plays right there on the near side of the field. Breaks up the West Coast attack. And he draws the foul. Send deep. Touch back to Parker. Here comes Parker. Parker plays it back toward the middle of the field. Not a very smart pass. Right into traffic. West Coast able to get the ball back. And here comes the press for Baltimore Celtic, and they force the turnover, but then give it right back. That has been the thorn for Baltimore Celtic, no pun intended, with Thate Thorne being on the team for Baltimore Celtic, but they just have not been able to keep much of possession even when they're forcing these turnovers. Played forward, coming down the field, not able to connect. Pass forward. Deflected away. West Coast going to come up with the ball. Deflected back once again. Two players in the same area for West Coast. They need to spread out. This one out to the wing to Parker. Parker with a nice touch. Parker's probably been the best player for Baltimore Celtic thus far in this game, as far as possession goes and working it up the sideline. He's had a couple nice touches. Maybe that might be something Baltimore Celtic wants to look forward into. You just keep getting it at the feet of Parker. The offense has flown quite smoothly through him. Deflected around. Baltimore Celtic still with possession. Now played in. It'll go out of play. A couple players on the sideline for West Coast, starting to warm up. No players on the bench of Baltimore Celtic. Coach Lookingdale still urging his team to keep pushing forward. And this looks like it'll be another deep throw in for Baltimore Celtic. Thrown in near the box. Maybe an opportunity. Headed away. It looks like we're getting ready to have a substitution for Baltimore Celtic. After a foul called right there. Number 6, Aaron Kaplan, getting ready to check into the game. Aaron Kaplan getting ready to have a birthday here in a couple days, so happy birthday to Aaron Kaplan. This one played in right toward the corner, and it'll just sail wide of the post. So here comes Aaron Kaplan into the game, checks out. Checks out number 13, Marcel Trotman, who didn't start the game but has been seeing some playing time here. This one headed up into the air, being deflected around. That ball continuing to just die on the field when it hits it in some certain spots, as that middle of the field starting to get really torn up. One side of the field just looks completely torn to shreds also compared to the other. This left side of the field that you're probably seeing through this stream is looking pretty torn up from all the cleat marks, all the sliding marks, and then if camera pans over to the right, you start to see a lot of green, a lot of that grass still intact, so that also kind of goes in Baltimore Celtic's favor as far as offense goes, but getting it together seems to be one of the keys that they haven't been able to get together. Keeping possession has been tough for them. And I think that goes back to where Coach Lookingdale was telling me before the game that a lot of these players just coming off high school season didn't work much together. And so keeping possession together has been tough for them, but we'll see if they can somehow find a way to get it together here later here in the second half as time continues to wind down. The good thing for this Baltimore Celtic Dynasty team rather, is they're only down 1 goal, so it only takes 1 possession to level this thing back up. Headed forward. Played downfield, but nobody's there. Here comes a throw in the direction of Parker, but played a little too long. Baltimore Celtic looked to try and find possession. This one being deflected around, neither team able to get a hold of it. Baltimore Celtic looks to work the far side of the field, a little bit of tussling between the two on the far side of the field. Both players end up hitting the deck. That ball played down back toward the goalkeeper, Manarelli, for Baltimore Celtic. Here comes West Coast down the far side of the field, looking to maybe try and play one into the box. That one will just go over, and it'll go out of play for what will be a goal kick for Baltimore. Can Baltimore Celtic find a way back in this one? For those of you just tuning in, 1-0 is the score. West Coast Armour took that 1-0 lead in the first half off of a goal that went off the post and in. It has been the only goal for either team. Sevilla has been rock solid in the back for West Coast, which has stopped a lot of Baltimore Celtic's attacks, but outside of that, Baltimore Celtic hasn't been able to keep possession a whole lot. And now West Coast just looking to keep possession near the corner, over near their flag post, just trying to kill some time. Baltimore Celtic presses forward, gets the turnover, now trying to play one into the box. Here it comes in the direction of Parker. Parker's just going to have to back this one out for a moment, looking for a teammate to come help him out, but instead cuts back out, puts one into the box. This one goes to the far side of the field. And looks like they called it went out over the line, which will go for a goal kick. So West Coast getting ready to send in yet another substitute. Number 23, Angel Franco, coming into the game in just a moment. Baltimore Celtic will also play one of their own, as that ball looks like it is going to go out of play. And we're going to have substitutes come in for both teams. Number 25, Thulin Garika, comes in for the green and white Baltimore Celtic. And it looked like number 23, Angel Franco, checked back into the game. As a deflection right there for Baltimore Celtic, saves what could have been a 2-0 lead for West Coast, as Manarelli was there just in the nick of time. That could have very well sealed the game, but now here instead, Baltimore Celtic looking to push forward, plays this one deep. No one home. Sevilla able to get there in time. And Sevilla goes down. It looks like he will be okay. Kind of got flipped around when he was getting that ball. He'll get up under his own power. And Parker here on the sideline trying to get a quick drink and get hydrated for this last run for the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty to see if they can tie this game up. This ball batted around, and now Parker able to come up with it, plays it forward. Now played into the box, deflected around. Here's one played into the box, deflected away. Franco passes it back. West Coast plays it down the field and forward. And it looks like it's going to roll out of play for what will be a Baltimore Celtic throw-in. Here comes Baltimore Celtic with maybe an opportunity, but able to clear it out. Here comes an opportunity into the box. Baltimore Celtic trying to get an opportunity to go, but they just can't. West Coast able to deflect it away once again. Now working the far side of the field, coming up, plays it deep. Baltimore Celtic once again trying to look and probe and see what they can get, but West Coast will just let that ball roll out. When I went back to saying that one side of the field's torn up and the other one's not, and you saw the absolute difference in what's happening. That ball was kicked deep and it just rolls straight out of bounds. You kick the ball deep on the other side of the field and it's just going to sit there. It'll stop in the middle of that field, so we'll see what happens. It looks like this will go out for what will be a corner kick for Baltimore Celtic. This one played into the box. Someone got a head on it, but it wasn't a very good one, and this one will be played out. It looks like it'll be another corner kick for Baltimore Celtic. Corner up and away, headed on. Sevilla there once again. An absolute brick wall between the posts today. Played long. This one played forward to the near side of the field. That ball will go out of play, and it'll stay with Baltimore Celtic.
Guys, we got 13 minutes. Go. Come in, White. Come on. Gotta finish.
13 minutes now remain in the game. Here comes a substitute getting ready to come on for West Coast Armour. It'll be Blake Bowen getting ready to check into the game. This ball sent in long off the throw-in, headed up into the air, deflected around for a little bit. And here comes a substitution in as Blake checks in and number 13 checks out, Samuel Brooks. Looks like it'll be a free kick right here for West Coast Armour on their side of the field. Played deep toward midfield, deflected around. Baltimore Celtic will let that one roll as it will be their possession. This one played forward. Baltimore Celtic trying to keep possession over there in the corner. And the linesman will rule it Baltimore Celtic ball. And substitution comes in for Baltimore Celtic as Tate Thorne checks out of the game, and back comes in number 9, Dennis Kranovich. And that ball just goes right over the goalpost, and that's the first shot Baltimore Celtic's been able to put up in quite a long time, where Sevilla wasn't the one who was there blocking it. And that ball was just a little too high. And that could be a tendency sometimes once you start putting it low and the goalkeeper's there every single time to make the block. You start trying to place them up a little higher to make it a little more difficult for him, but sometimes you get shots like that too where they just go straight over the goalpost. But we'll see if Baltimore Celtic able to get any more cleaner looks as we near the end of this game. Just a reminder, there is no overtime. So whatever the final result is the final result. And West Coast trying to make sure that the final result is a win for them. And here comes an opportunity if they can get the shot off and maybe a foul in the box right there. But nothing is going to be called. And it looks like now there will be a stoppage of play. I thought maybe there was a foul in the box right there, but no call was made. But it looks like it will be a corner kick for West Coast. So they didn't get the call in the box, but they do have a set piece to set up right here. This one sent in, and it's deflected away. This ball played up into the box, and Manarelli right there to bat it down. And a foul called right there in the middle of the field. Baltimore Celtic almost had an opportunity to maybe get a good possession right there and turn it upfield, but instead the referee stops the play. We have a substitution getting ready to come in for West Coast. Number 19, Nicholas Lopez, who started this game, getting ready to check in. Number 7, Dillo Monroe, checks out. And an opportunity right there, deflected away by Manarelli. Manarelli doesn't corral that ball. That ball's going in. And it would have been 2-0. But instead, Baltimore Celtic still alive. That pass goes out of play, though. Baltimore Celtic going to have to start connecting on these passes if they want to have a chance. This ball played long, down the near side of the field, headed up into the air. A player goes down, a foul is going to be called. Baltimore Celtic with possession on the free kick right here. This one sent long up into the air. Baltimore Celtic looking to work it. Parker with some space. Parker has been quite good for Baltimore Celtic today, still keeping possession, but dismantled. And now this ball sent long. And a collision right there. West Coast able to come up with the ball. And then now on this side, the back line of Baltimore Celtic able to dismantle. Now this one sent forward, an opportunity for Baltimore Celtic, but not able to get a good touch on it. And Sevilla will be right there. Sevilla clears this one deep. And that might have been a foul, and it will be called as two players absolutely collided.
You give yellows for dissent, which I'm good. That's, he could be out for the season.
The free kick will be taken. Baltimore Celtic.
Does the NFL be fun? We go helmet to helmet.
An opportunity, Sevilla there once again. That ball wasn't very well directed, though, right into the palms of Sevilla, who was just waiting there right in the middle of the goalposts. This one sent long. Not a good pass right there. This one now being reversed. West Coast trying to flip the field. What a nice pass back toward the middle of the field, and a nice touch to himself, but is he able to finish it? And that might be a foul in the box, but on West Coast, and that will be the call. Both teams starting to keep possession of it a little more, but is it a little too late for Baltimore Celtic late on in this game? Opportunity starting to wind down. West Coast now moving with the ball on the far side of the field, plays it forward. No one there. Manarelli corrals it. The urgency is there, plays it on the far side of that field.
Play the ball.
Baltimore Celtic just loses it.
Plenty of time, guys. Move the ball.
That ball continuing to just die on that side of the field, and the ball's going to roll out. West Coast gets possession. They've got numbers and they've got space. If he can make that pass once over left, he would have had plenty of space to roll. Baltimore Celtic able to get there and break it up. And that ball's going to go straight out of play. Not a good pass right there at all. It will be a throw-in for West Coast. Number 28, Parker Rosine, getting ready to throw it in. This one played into the box from West Coast. Maybe an opportunity for a shot coming for West Coast. This one deflected away. Manarelli right there. Manarelli sends it deep. This one's sent long. And that one goes out of play. Directed toward Parker. And here comes a substitution in for West Coast. Number 14, Sander Buij, getting ready to check in the game. And a substitution as well from Baltimore Celtic. Number 19, Andrew Rehudel, getting ready to check in. Number 7, Andrew Privet comes out. Parker working that near side of the field. The ball will go out of play. This one thrown into the box, but right to Sevilla. Sevilla plays it deep. This one is going to roll right out of play. Sent deep. Found someone down the near side of the field. Now played back toward the middle of the box. Maybe an opportunity. That one dropped back, but just out of the reach. Boston Celtic just trying to keep possession. Still with the ball. Broken up. Here comes West Coast on the counter. Down the middle of the field. West Coast with an opportunity, breaking away from the pack. And an opportunity at goal. A nice sliding tackle. Manarelli able to get there and get to the ball, but a couple players fall down. And that is not something Coach Armour is happy about. He thought that was a foul in the box and what should have been a penalty kick. This one played back into the middle of the field. And West Coast is looking to just kill time as Coach Armour is urging his team to take it to the corner and try and kill as much clock as they possibly can. And that will be the end of the game as Baltimore Celtic falls in this one 1-0 to West Coast Armour. And that'll wrap up the second game here, and that'll wrap up the under-15 boys here on Field 1 as the under-17s are going to get ready to take the field here in just a moment at the U.S. Youth Soccer National League Tournament. This is Karthik Venkatram, and I'll be hanging out with you for the next two games on the slate. We'll catch you back here in a moment.